for all my church leaders and for anyone that leads in any capacity in the church, I encourage you to listen to this video right now. And even if you're not a church leader in any capacity, I encourage you to just stay and listen, because this is good wisdom information to carry. And so my encouragement for all of us today, me first and you across the screen, is that we would lead people to Jesus first and not ourselves. That as we lead people, as we're on a platform and we're preaching over social media, in person at a church, we're discipling people in everything we do. My encouragement is that we lead people to Jesus and not to ourselves. And this is what I mean. We see, and it's not just me, but we see often in the church nowadays, especially with the social media aspect of things now, is that it's so centered on self that as people come to church, it's based off of how many followers you have now instead of the integrity of that person. And the thing is that as we're discipling people too, we should encourage them, right? Even off the platform, as we're discipling, we should encourage people to read the word, right? The Bible themselves, instead of just listening to our word, right? Because here's the thing that happens that we see too often nowadays is that people end up, right, with church hurt. Where does that come from? It stems from this, is that they listen to your words, all your words, and they don't read the word themselves. And then when you mess up, because we're human and we fall short of the glory of God, then when you mess up and you make a mistake, their faith is in shambles now, because their faith was built off of your words instead of the word of God. And so now they're going off of your words, and then when you mess up and then when you fail, then everything falls apart and they're hurt and they're put to shame, and now they don't want to come back, and now they're mad at you and they're mad at everyone else, they're mad at God, and all this stuff goes crazy. And so that's just one example out of many that I could use right now of why we should lead people to Jesus and not to ourselves. And not to mention, that's the whole center of the gospel, is leading people to Jesus and not to ourselves. So I encourage you with that right now, is that if you have any form of leadership in the church, even just because we're all called to be evangelists, right? That's the Great Commission, is that we would go and evangelize, right? So for everybody, really, is that we would lead people to Jesus and not for the glory of ourselves. So I encourage you with that right now. God bless.